Hey, Andy here from 2 Minute Tech Tutorials. In this video tutorial, we're going to build on what we covered on the previous video where I showed you how to create your own web page using Adobe Express. In that particular video, we created this Adobe Express web page for a New York City guide, and we applied one of the default themes to this. So in this case, I think we've used the Luca theme, and you'll see we have lots of content within this particular city guide, but I want to customize it so that it fits in with my particular brand, and so that I can use specific fonts, specific colors, and just make it look a lot nicer. Now, if you want to know how to construct a page like this, then check out the previous tutorial using the link in the card above. I'll also pop that in the description, and to save you a little bit of time, I'll put it at the end of this video as well. But we're going to take this existing city guide and we're going to convert it, add our branding, and hopefully make it look a whole lot better. So first of all, let me just click on the cross at the top here to come out of the preview view, and you'll see if I go into themes, we have a selection of different themes here that we can choose from. And in the previous tutorial, we changed it from the default one, which was crisp, to use this Luca theme. But now what I want to do is I want to take things to the next level and make use of branding. Now you can set up a custom brand within Adobe Express to use across all of your different designs. That could be your videos, your pages, or your posts. Making use of branding is an extra feature which requires a Pro license, so you need to have Adobe Express Pro to be able to do this. If you click on the link in my description below this video, you'll be able to sign up to a free 30-day trial so you can follow along with what I'm covering here. And if you want to keep it, you can continue to pay for it. It's around about £10 a month. If you don't want to keep it after that point, you can cancel and you won't be charged. But it's worth considering the premium version of Adobe Express, because aside from branding, you get access to a lot more features and functionality, including all of the assets such as photos or videos. You get access to many more templates, and you can resize your designs really quickly. There are other features and functionality that I'm not going to cover just now, but it's definitely worth, in my opinion, the small fee of £10 a month, particularly if you are utilizing this application often. Anyway, let's get back to this particular tutorial. So how are we going to rebrand this particular web page, and in our case, our New York City guide? Well, you'll see on the right hand side when we go into themes, there is an option up here that says add your brand. Now I'm logged into my premium account just now, but if you were using a free account, when you click on this button, it will tell you that you need to have premium to be able to do this. But as I said, feel free to click that link in the description to sign up to a free trial of premium. So I'm going to click on add your brand. And what this will then do is it's actually going to take me back out of the editor for the web page and into this brands area here. Now I could have gone straight to this brands area and constructed my brand from this point at the beginning, but I wanted to show you the other way to do it. So first of all, what do we need to do with our brand? Well, you get asked here if you want to create or upload a logo. So at this point here, if you don't have a logo, then what you can do is you can click on the button that says skip this step, and then you will see it actually gives you the option to try out their basic logo maker. So if you're looking to create a logo, then you will be able to use this, and I'll put a link in the description and in the card above to my video tutorial explaining how to use the logo maker, which is actually quite a nifty little tool, especially if you're on a budget. But for now, I'm going to click on the pencil up here, and then I'm going to find one of my logos. So I'm just going to go for the standard white PNG file. I'll click open, and this is a very basic logo which I constructed in about 2 seconds using their logo maker just for this particular demo. But you'll see on the right hand side, we now get examples of different pieces of work within Adobe Express where that logo has been fitted, just to give you an idea of how it looks. And we want to pay close attention to this one down the bottom right, because this is an example of how a web page looks with your logo displayed at the top left. If your logo is circular, then make sure you use a PNG so that the background is transparent. If you save it as a JPEG, then you're going to have a solid background, and I'll show you a little example just now. So if I find that file that we had open just a second ago, so it's a circular logo with this red background, and because it's a JPEG, we've saved the whole background. You'll see when I click open, we then have the logo sitting, and we've got what is not really a very nice background. What I would do here is if I really wanted to have a red background, I would probably take it into a different tool, cut around the circle here so that it's a circular logo, then save it as a PNG. But anyway, I'll just quickly click on the pencil and we'll change this back to the white one where we have a transparent background. Next, I'm going to go down to pick my color in the second area, and this is where you can basically pick your base color for your brand. Now you can insert lots of different colors, and once you set up your initial brand, you'll get more options for adding additional colors and additional logos, but for now you're just picking what is your base color. So I want to go for a kind of dark color here, so I'm going to enter the hex value, so I've got 292826, which is this almost like a black, but you can drag through the colors here. You can also change how light it is, so if you want to go for a slightly lighter color, you can move up to here, or you can move it down for the darker. But again, I'll go back and I'll use 292826. I'll then click save, and you will see it will transport that onto these little previews here again to see how your base color looks against different types of elements within Adobe Express. Finally, I'll go to choose my font, and you can upload your own custom fonts if you want to. For example, here they break it down into different categories. We've got modern, we've got classic, we've got clean, and in this case, I think I'm going to use this one here. And again, it updates all of the little previews to see how that font would look within your design. Now I'm going to click on the next button, and we need to give it a name. So I'm going to call this one NYC Tours, and I'm then going to click Create My Brand. So we've created the basics of our brand here, but we're not quite ready to apply the branding to our particular web page just yet, because I want to add a couple more elements. And you'll see you can actually upload another brand if you want to. I'll close this down for now because I want to put my other colors in. So here you have the option to add some additional logos, and you can also remove any logos. So you'll see this red one is listed as another logo. I can click on it, and then I can go to the three dots and just remove that one because I don't want that one there. And you'll see it also gives you the name of your brand as just a text-based logo by default. You can't basically delete that or do anything with it. It's always just there, but you can choose to use it if you want to. But my main logo sits up here as the primary logo just now. If I was to upload another logo, let's say we're going to use the black version, and we'll go for this one here, then I could actually click on this one and then go to make primary and replace, and that will then become a primary logo. So anytime I use my logo, that's the one that will be used by default. But I'll just quickly switch this one back to primary just now. So we've got the white transparent one. Okay, colors, this is what I'm interested in. So you'll see because we've got the base color here, it actually gives you some additional colors that it thinks are going to work quite well. And it's just basically lightened these colors up. So we've got a darker gray, a lighter gray, and a very light gray. I want to add another color though. I'm going to add a nice yellow, which will work really, really well with the black. And that one is F9D342. Then I'll hit save, and you can add quite a few different colors here. I'm not even sure what the limit is, but I've now got my additional color in here, and you'll see it's added there. So this is important later on because we can flick between the different colors for a brand when we're working with our designs in post, in video, or in our case, in our web page. Now you'll see here, every time we use a heading, it's going to use this particular font here, and your body is going to be this PT serif. This is just a standard one that's been given to us. We can, however, click into here and change that. So anytime we use a body font, perhaps I want to use this lateral one. So I'll just click replace, and then it's going to update my body font. Now you can add more fonts here and make more selections. I'm going to leave it just like this for now. Couple of quick tips if you're looking to work with colors and you're wanting to construct a palette yourself or find some good examples online. A website called Coolers is incredibly useful. It's free. There are paid elements to it, but the bulk of it is free. And that is a great way of being able to identify color palettes or actually generate your own colors. So I could take this yellow and then I can find up to 4 or 5 different colors which complement and build a palette to reuse on here. When it comes to fonts, you can search online for good font pairings and you'll get good ideas for both headings and for body. But basically just Google that. There's lots of great information out there. So we've set up our brand now to a very basic extent. If I scroll down, you'll see that under themes and particular page, you now get a light, medium and dark version of your particular brand to apply to your web pages. So what I'm going to do at this point is, rather than edit any of these, I'm going to jump back to the projects area, because my brand will save as I jump back. And then I'm going to open the project that we worked on before, which was this one here. And then it's going to open up my project just now. Okay, so now that we have opened up our web page here, you'll see that it is still using the Luca theme that we chose before. So underneath the headings, you'll see that they are in, they've got red lines underneath them. You'll see they've got these red buttons. And if I go into the themes panel on the right hand side, that is using this Luca theme here, which is okay. If I scroll up though, you'll see I now have under brand themes, I've got a light version, a medium and a dark of the NYC Tours theme that I just created. That's the new brand. If I click on this button up here, this allows you to switch your brand, and I would be able to create a new brand from here, or I can go in and select my brand from here if I hadn't already selected it. I could have multiple brands in here and I can quickly switch from this menu, but we've only got one brand and that's why we just have one available. Now, I really hope you are enjoying this video. If you are, please do hit that like button. Feel free to drop a comment below if there's anything that doesn't make sense or you've got any questions. And of course, if you've not already done so, please do consider subscribing to the channel to show your support. Now, let's get back to this tutorial. You'll see you have a light version, a medium and a dark, which is what we saw just a minute ago when we were constructing our brand. If I click on light, you will see it's going to apply this theme to our page. Now, if I click on preview to get a full idea of how it looks, you will see that the headings have changed, so they're now bold. We've got the new font that we chose for both the body and the headings. The buttons here are darker with a slight highlight of light grey when we hover over them. But generally speaking, it's not a million miles away from the clean or crisp theme that is available in the themes menu down here by default. So what I want to do is I want to go in and start customizing it a little bit more. It is worth pointing out at this point that if I click on the medium variation, you'll see when I scroll down we've got a darker background, but it's not full black yet. Or the dark one has the full black, and you'll see the text is in white and the titles are in that kind of grey colour. So there are other variations. Now, if you want to edit a variation, you simply select the variation and then click on the pencil. So I'm going to choose light, and then I'm going to click on the edit button for the light theme. Now you'll see when I go into the light theme or the light brand, it's going to take me back to this view here, and this is within the brands area. Now we could have got to this by going into the edit options for the page within branding, but I wanted to take you in to actually see how it works with your theme and how you can change rather than editing it within the branding area. Now what happens here is you get to edit your theme for the light brand. Now you can change the title here as well, so if you don't want it to be called light, you could change it. Light's fine for me, it's clear enough what it is. And basically you get a preview window in the center here, which if I scroll down, it's not previewing your actual page, it's just previewing a page with all of the different elements. And then what you do is basically work through this to construct your ideal theme, and then that can be applied to your particular page. So first of all, page background. If I click on page background, it's a light theme. White is ideal, but I can come into here and change it, so I can pick maybe one of my colors from my branding here. So I could go for yellow, I could go for black, or I could just leave it as white. We could even make it a very, very slight off-white if we wanted to. Then what we do is we go to the back button and we go up to title, and this shows you an example of a title, and you can choose your style. So you can have a box around it like this, you can have a box around like that, which is a lot less transparent. You can have the lines above and below. There's lots of variations. I'm going to go for this one here, and then I can come down and change my title text color. So I want my title to perhaps be black. That's difficult to read, so let's go for yellow. My subtitle, maybe I'm quite happy with it being white, so that's okay. Your border is the border that goes around, so we could go for like a black border like this, or we can go for a yellow one. Because we've got a kind of black box, it's quite hard to see it, but we can then change the background color here from black. We could maybe make it slightly lighter, or I mean we could make it any color we want, but I'll go for this slightly lighter color. Now let's say for example I quite like this grey. If I want to use this throughout my branding, I can click on the plus button and simply add that as another option to use within this brand. I'm going to minimize this color menu just to see if there's anything below, and you'll see that the default is to use this railway heavy. I think that's how you pronounce it. We can change that to any font we want, but we've chosen that to be our default, so I want to be consistent and make sure that's always used for the title, so I'll leave that in play, but I would rather it was capitals. So every time we have this title used, it's going to be in capitals, and I think my subtitle I'm going to leave as this Lato, but I'm going to make it capitals as well. Then I'll go back and we'll go to the next thing. So anytime we use a heading 1, we want to apply certain color and fonts to this. So the color in heading 1, I always want it to be black, but I'm going to choose a different option. I'm going to choose this one here for style, which is going to have 2 underlines to that, and I'm going to make my text black, and I'm going to make the shape underneath yellow, or I could go for that kind of off grey colour. Let's just go for yellow to make it a little bit different. Then we can say, okay, what happens with your text? So I'm happy to keep using this font, but I want it to be in capitals as well. So every heading 1 is going to be in capitals now as well. We'll go back, and any heading 2 we can do the same sort of thing. So I'm happy with the colour here. You notice you can't change the styling of heading 2. You can change the font, you can make it all capitals, you can change its colour, but you can't apply an underline like we could for heading 1. And then our paragraph text, I'm happy for it to be the same font as we chose before, but I would rather it was just a little bit lighter. So I'm going to just change it to this colour here, and then we'll go back. Now, we've not added a quote to our main city guide, but if we did want to put a quote in, you'll see you get different styling options. So you can have quotation marks, you can have it double underlined, you can have a box going around it. I quite like the quotation marks, and I think in my case here I would make it yellow, all capitals, and I would probably make the quotation a little bit lighter in colour so it stands out. But I've not used one in my example anyway. Now, anytime we use any buttons, we've used a lot of buttons. Here's an example of a button here. How do we want to display that within our city guide or our web page? Well, square is the default. We can make it a slightly rounded button. We can have an outlined square button, outlined rounded. We can have one like this, which has got an outline, but it's got a solid fill in the background. Or we could just have the label with a little arrow. I quite like to use this square one here, so I'm going to go for that. But I'm going to say my text colour is going to be black, but my border is going to be yellow. Now that could be quite hard to see against this, so I might change for something like this button, and then say, okay, make the background on this one yellow, but make the text black. Okay, and then we can say I want my buttons to be all capitals, and I'm going to change the font for them. So I'm going to select a different font. Now you'll see there aren't a huge amount available here. So there's just a couple of options, but you can add more. I think this is actually more with the browsers not allowing me to scroll down, if I'm honest. But for now, let's just leave it as it is for now. So we'll go back. And then anytime we use hyperlinks, so we've got a couple of links in ours, but you can basically choose to have the link just with nothing on it, or you can have it underlined. So you'll see the example down here, no underline or underline, or you can make it underlined when you hover over it, like this one here. And then you can choose how you want it displayed. So I'm going to have my normal link in black, but anytime I hover over, it's going to change into yellow, like this. Again, that could be a bit difficult to see, so I'll maybe just make it so it's slightly lighter when you hover over. So not a massive change there, but there's enough. And now we go down to photos. So anytime you've used an inline photo, you can change it. You can have like this Polaroid effect, like that, or you can have it so that the caption's underneath. And it might be you want to have like a yellow background with black text, or in my case I might have a black background and use, let's see, we'll use yellow text with a black background, like that. So you can chop and change, and you can change your font in here. You'll see again I'm quite restricted by how many fonts I can choose from this list, but I think that's probably just again with this browser at this moment in time. Then we have full width. So how do you want your full width images to be displayed? And you'll see it also can change things like the caption. So I could choose this one and say, well, I want my text to be yellow underneath, or we can have it black. And if I come back out, we can also change things like the full screen one. So in this case, if we've used a full screen photo, it does come with a caption. So really what you're editing here is the caption. So I'll say I want it all capitals, I want my background to be black, and I want my text and my captions on these images to be black and the background to be yellow, like this. And you can change its transparency. So it's a slightly transparent one there, or we can go for a full solid yellow background for that particular color. I'll just go for transparent. And now we're going to go down to our glide show, which is the final option here, and you'll see that you can basically only choose if you want it to be a transparent background, which is the default for the box that sits on top of your glide show, or if you want to make it solid in color. I'll make this one solid, go back, and then I'm going to click on the done button once I have updated this particular branding theme. So we've edited the brand light theme. I'm going to click done. It will then save it, and it will take us back in, and now we can see our city guide. So I can scroll through and check how everything looks. I can then go to preview, and I'm able to see it in the same view as the end user would see. So we can test the buttons out. We can see this is no longer transparent. We can see that we've got the double underline under our heading. And if I click on the cross, we can go back into themes and make any changes that we need to from here. I'm going to jump back into the main branding area though by clicking on the Adobe Express logo at the top left. That's going to save my design. I'm going to go down to brands, and then I'm going to find my brand and click on the manage button. So into brands, into manage, because you'll see that if I scroll down, there is also the branded surfaces, and there's a couple of other things I want to change here, in particular the header and footer. So I'm going to go to edit, and then what I'm going to do is show you how to quickly edit your header and footer for your page. Then we'll jump back in and I'll show you how to apply this to your particular web page. So the footer comes at the bottom, obviously. You've got your different logo variations. So we've got the dark one here, we've got the light one, we can chop and change. I'm going to go into the footer option just in here because this is what we're changing. And I'm going to choose the black one, and you'll see we can't see it, but that's okay because I can go into background, and then I can change the background color for the footer. So I'm going to go for a nice yellow background on the footer, and I've changed the logo for footer into this black one. Now what I'm going to do is go to call to action, and I'm going to put in a little button at the bottom. So I'll turn on the button and you'll see it will appear here, and I'm going to put in a link. I'll just put a little web link in there, and I can choose the color to be black. So you'll see we've now got this black button in here, text and outline, and you can choose a different type of button you want. I'll go for a nice rounded one because it fits with the round logo. And if I go back to social at the top here, if you want to, you can put in your social media channels. All you need to do is put in the @ part. So let's say I've got Facebook, Twitter and Instagram all under NYC Tours. You'll see it adds them in here. Okay, so we've changed the background color, we've added our social elements, we've gone into call to action, and we've added a little button in here. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go into call to action and header because I want a button to appear here. So now you'll see we're editing the header for call to action. Turn on the button, visit us online. .com, and in here I want my menu bar now. It's going to be a transparent background. This is going to appear slightly above it, so I'm going to say that I want my text color to be yellow and the background to be black so it stands out. Then I'll go into logos. Again, for the header I'm going to put in this black logo here, but we could use a white one if we wanted to. I'll go for that for now, and then all I'm going to do is I'm going to click on the done button. I then have to go back into projects. I'm going to open up the project, and then you will see that no header or footer has appeared yet, and if I go to preview you'll see that they aren't in position. And the reason for that is the last step is to go to settings, and then we need to click on show header and footer. Now you'll see that when we go to preview, our logo appears just there, and as we scroll down we've got our footer in place, and just above here we have our header. Now it's not very clear with this logo, so I would probably go back into branding and change that to the white logo, but I'm happy with the button, so when the user hovers over it they can see that. But I would obviously check that all of these buttons work, make sure that they work okay. and then we have finished. Now the last thing to recommend is to go to settings, and I would set up a Google Analytics tracking ID. I've got a separate video for that, which I'll put in the description and in the card above. I'll also put that on the end display screen as well. But this will just let you set up a little bit more tracking to check how your users are getting on when they actually visit your web page, rather than just simply being able to see if they have liked or viewed the page. Anyway, that's been a quick tour of how to customize the theme using branding within your web page on Adobe Express. As I mentioned at the beginning, it does require a premium account, so you'll be able to sign up to the free trial with the link in my description. That'll give you 30 days to try this out and see if you enjoy using the premium version of Adobe Express. If you've not already done so, please do hit that like button. Feel free to comment below to let me know if you have any questions or queries about using the web page feature or branding within Adobe Express. And if you've not already done so, please do hit that subscribe button to show your support to the channel. Next up, if you're looking to learn how I actually created this city guide that you see on screen using Adobe Express's web page tool, then check out this video. And if you want to just see my other Adobe Express videos, including the video showing you how to set up Google Analytics, then check out this Adobe Express playlist. But thanks again for watching.